My goodness.
You would say it's not the yellow from the egg. Hello guys, my name is Katiana, cat for short, and I'm allergic to, well, you guessed it, cats. First of all, thank you for clicking on this video and thank you to all the new followers. I was so elated over the last days. I still can't believe it. So thank you so much. And if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Today I want to talk about German sayings or idioms. When I was in school, I was so lost. Like, I started school in Germany. I moved to Germany just before first grade. And I remember in third grade, we had this one paper, like this paper sheet, and it had like different pictures on it, and you were supposed to cut them out and then glue them to your like notebook and write the saying it depicted next to it. And me and all the other foreign kids, we were like, what in the world do you want? I didn't understand any of them except for one. All the other ones I was clueless about. So I want to talk about German sayings today. So first off, I'm going to kind of talk about the ones I remember from that sheet. And because those were like the funniest to me always, because I remember not knowing what the picture was supposed to tell me. And all the other German kids were like, oh my gosh, I know. And they were like laughing and giggling about it. And me and like, I would think we had like 3 Turkish kids in our class. They were the basically only other foreigners. And we were like, do you know any of those? Because I don't. One of them was, like one of the pictures was a bear on the back of a man, and he was like looking really anguished and annoyed for some reason. And the saying in German is jemanden einen Bären aufbinden, which basically means, as far as I understand it, that you're lying to someone and it's technically so obvious that you're like doing something that's wrong or saying something that makes no sense, that you're basically tying a bear to someone's back. It still doesn't make a lot of sense to me today, especially now that I'm explaining it, but that was the saying, and I was supposed to know that in third grade, and I still don't get it today, so there's that. I also remember the only one I actually understood, and that was the following saying: Wer Annan eine Grube gräbt, fällt selbst hinein. So that means if you're shoveling or if you're digging a hole for someone else, you'll fall in it yourself. So you're trying to like make someone else fall or fail in some type of way, but because you're doing that, you're hurting, like you're going to basically catch bad karma, and it's going to happen to you instead of the other person, or at least to you as well, which I think is very symbolic, and that one I get, and I think it's really cool. Another one has to do with doors. It's basically this. Does that make sense? No. The saying is mit der Tür ins Haus fallen, which means to fall into the apartment or house with the door. Huh? How was I supposed to know that? It means that you're just like, without like telling anyone that you're going to be there or at that time, or just breaching a new topic, you just stumble into something. So if one of my best friends were to just all of a sudden stand for my door and like open it, she will fall into my house with the door because I didn't expect her to be there. So it's kind of symbolic, but it's like hard to understand because it's not as obvious. Another saying I really enjoy, because Germans actually make fun of this like themselves, is the yellow from the egg. So you would say it's not the yellow from the egg, knowing full well that that makes no sense in English. And people say this kind of as a joke, like because some things are like Denglish, like German in English, and German in English means, in German means Deutsch, so Deutsch and English would be Denglish. And some people like say things in English just because they make sense to them in German, even though they make no sense in English. So the yellow from the egg would be one of those things. So that's why it's like kind of this joke. And it means that something is the best part of something else. Like, I can't think of a good example, but if something is just the best of something, it's the yellow from the egg. It's not the egg white, the thing around it, it's the yellow. It's like the egg yolk. It's the best part, essentially. Okay, so those were all the things I could remember from the sheet and also just up on the top of my head. But now I have my computer with me and I'm going to read some that I just looked up. Some of them just make no sense when you translate it, and it's just so funny to me. So one would be, the eye eats as well. And you're like, the eye eats? Huh? But das Auge isst mit basically means that whenever you have food served, it should also look nice, because when something looks appetizing, it will most probably also kind of taste better. So the eye eats as well, not just the mouth. Kleinvieh macht auch Mist means that small animals also produce dung. So this sounds so stupid when you translate it. I know I've been saying that the entire video, but I just like find it absolutely hilarious. But basically, this is like obvious that every animal poops, so not just the big ones, but also the small ones. And because there usually are more small ones than big ones, that their poop or dung combined is also something you have to take into account. So if you basically have a lot of small tasks that you have to complete, they will also add up to something you have to consider. Ein blindes Huhn findet auch einmal ein Korn. This means that a blind chick will also find a corn every once in a while. Because if you just pick at the ground, one time you are also gonna pick at a corn and actually have something to eat, even if you don't see it. So this basically means that people who technically aren't great at whatever they're doing will also succeed every once in a while, even if they're blind. Because, well, sometimes you gotta actually have a hit. I mean, even if you miss 99% of the time, that 1% is gonna be there, even if you're horrible at whatever you're trying to do. Another really good one that I actually feel like I use, which is something that doesn't really apply to the other ones, is jemanden etwas aus der Nase ziehen müssen. So it means, like, goodness, that's so long now that I think about it. So it basically means you have to pull something out of someone's nose. So you have to basically ask and ask and ask and ask again to finally have them release whatever information you need of them to you. I don't know what had to be so literal, like pulling someone from someone else's nose. Sounds disgusting, but I swear we don't actually do that. Okay, there's this one thing that I've known for years, and I still know what it means. So in German it is, da wird der Hund in der Pfanne verrückt, which translates to whenever this happens, the dog will go crazy inside of the pan. Why would the dog be in the pan though? Like, what are you saying? I think it just means that whenever like something happens that you're just like, everyone would go crazy at that. But I don't specifically understand why that has anything to do with a dog and a pan. And if anyone could clarify this for me who speaks German, please do, because I've never understood this. Like, I know what you're trying to say, but why are you saying it in that way? Come on now, help me out. And there are some sayings that are absolutely the exact same. Like, for example, der Apfel fällt nicht weit vom Stamm. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It means the exact same thing. It's the exact same wording. But there are also idioms that mean the same thing but don't say specifically like the same word. So it's not a translation, it's just like the meaning that's the same. And I found this article on Bablu years ago, years and years ago. And I thought it was hilarious because it says that, like, basically the saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too, in 8 different languages, and they all mean the same thing. So in English, we already established that it's you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, either you keep the cake as is or you eat it and then it's no longer there. But in French, you say vouloir le beurre et l'argent du beurre. So you can't have the butter and the money for the butter. Like, either you spent the money on the butter and you then have the butter, or you still have the money for it. But at least it's like in the food category. In Polish, it's something I sadly can't pronounce. I don't speak Polish, but the translation is the wolf can't be full and the lamb whole. So either the wolf is full because he ate the lamb, he slaughtered it, or the lamb is whole, which is very, very out there. It's very, let's say you can picture it. But then in Spanish, it is no se puede estar en misa y repicando. So you can't be at mass and ring the bells at church. Like, you can't do both of them. And in German, it means du kannst nicht auf 2 Hochzeiten gleichzeitig tanzen. So you can't dance at 2 separate weddings at once. So you have to choose, which is what all of these sayings say, which I think is so interesting that so many countries feel the need to have a saying for this, and everyone came up with something different. But my favorite, this is how I'm gonna end the video, even though it's not German, is this Italian saying. And ever since I've read it, I've told it to everyone I ever talked to sayings about. And because I don't speak Italian, I'm not gonna pronounce it, but it basically means you can't have a full barrel and a drunken wife. What the heck? Who came up with that? I just realized I can't actually end the video this way because I decided ever since last video that I'm always going to end the video with a German word of the day to kind of learn. But before that, I remembered one last saying that I definitely want to put out there because it's just so freaking good. So, it is in German, kannst du ja schon so machen, aber dann ist es halt scheiße. Which translates to, no problem, you could do it that way, it's just gonna be bullshit then. So someone's saying to you they would like to do something a certain way, and you're basically like, yeah, do that. It's gonna be shit though. Okay, that's the actual last one for today. If you want me to do a part 2, let me know. There are so many sayings out there, like for example in like Bavarian dialect or in East German sayings, whatnot. There's so much to talk about if you want me to. But yeah, I'm going to end this video with a German word, as I just said, and it's going to be Sprichwort, which means saying or idiom. So definitely learn that one, try to pronounce it and tell me how it went, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, bye! I actually still have this binder from 3rd grade. Oh my gosh, look at my writing. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This looks so horrendous.